Welcome back to a new episode of Wheels of History. Before diving into today's main topic, we invite you to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one. For you, it's just a small gesture, but for us, it's essential to continue sharing the stories of vehicles that have made history. Today, we'll be telling the story of the Lambretta 200 SX. The Lambretta 200 represents the culmination of a long journey of technical and sporting evolution, a vehicle that perfectly embodies the philosophy of the sporty scooter. With its lively engine, extraordinary road grip and innovative front disc brake, it's a flawless synthesis of elegance and performance, offering an unparalleled riding experience. However, to truly understand the significance of this model in the history of scooters, we need to look back to when Vespa and Lambretta began pushing the boundaries of what was possible. In the 1950s, scooters were still mainly viewed as utilitarian vehicles, practical and accessible, occasionally with a touch of style but lacking in sporting ambition. Yet, the demand for a vehicle that could combine speed and stability was growing, fueled by discerning riders who wanted performance on par with high-wheel vehicles. It was then that Innocenti and Piaggio decided to prove that scooters too could take center stage. Competitions became the perfect proving ground. Urban circuits dedicated to scooters proliferated at a pace unimaginable today, drawing enthusiastic crowds. Vespa and Lambretta recruited top-level riders to compete on both city and off-road tracks, while their models reached for new world records. On the racetrack, limits were shattered. Scooters surpassed speeds of 200 kilometers per hour, achieving milestones that had previously been the exclusive domain of traditional motorcycles. Even endurance competitions solidified the scooter's reputation as a stable and reliable machine. In the international 6 days trials, often held on challenging and unpaved routes, many scooters earned gold medals, proving that small wheels were not a handicap but a winning alternative. This blend of speed, stability and resilience lit the spark. The market began to demand models with sporting ambitions, capable of delivering not just practicality but also thrilling emotions. It was in this context that Innocenti boldly forged ahead, revolutionizing the Lambretta with models like the 175 TV and later the Series 1s, which elevated the brand to new heights of elegance and engineering. The real turning point, however, came in 1962 with the third series of the 175 TV. The first Lambretta equipped with a front disc brake designed by Campagnolo. This innovation paved the way for the birth of the Lambretta 200. With the Lambretta 200, Innocenti not only meets the growing demand for sporty performance, but surpasses it. This model, equipped with a powerful engine and refined chassis, embodies everything a scooter can aspire to be. It is no longer just a means of transportation. It's a tool for experiencing the road with style, speed and safety, while celebrating a legacy of competition successes. In April 1963, to address demand in certain foreign markets, particularly the British one, Innocenti produced a few units of the 175 TV with an engine expanded to 200 cubic centimeters, increasing the bore to the limit of 66 millimeters. These were designated as TV 200 or GT 200, depending on the destination market. The beating heart of the 200 SX Special is its engine, which retains the architecture of the previous series, with unchanged bore and stroke, 66 by 58 millimeters. With a compression ratio of 7:1, it produces 11 horsepower at 5,500 revolutions per minute, propelling the scooter to an impressive top speed of 107 kilometers per hour, a record-breaking figure for its time. This power requires a 4% fuel-oil mixture, a choice influenced by both performance needs and the delicate construction of the cylinder. The wide bore and thin walls made the engine prone to deformation, necessitating larger tolerances between the piston and cylinder, which contributed to a slight noise during acceleration. Fueling is handled by a Dell'Orto SH20 carburetor, successfully introduced on models intended for foreign markets. Paired with 3-port distribution and lubrication using a 4% mixture, this system ensures smooth power delivery and brilliant performance. On the chassis front, the true innovation is the front disc brake, a device designed to provide progressive braking while also capturing media attention. Innocenti proudly promoted it as the first and only scooter in the world with a disc brake. Technically, the brake stands out for its floating disc, encapsulated within a lightweight alloy structure. While this design compromised cooling, it ensured solidity and precision. The system, mechanically operated via a ball and cam assembly that compresses a spring, offered modulated and safe braking, though it fell short of the expectations of those anticipating automotive-like braking power. The suspension retained Innocenti's proven setup, leading link-front suspension with telescopic hydraulic dampers and a rear single hydraulic shock absorber working on the oscillating engine unit mounted on silent blocks. This balance between rigidity and vibration damping ensured a good compromise between comfort and road holding, though leaving some room for improvement. The vehicle's dry weight was 123 kilograms, with a fuel tank capacity of 8.3 litres, providing sufficient range for longer journeys. In terms of fuel efficiency, the 200SX Special stood out with impressive consumption rates of about 3 litres per 100 kilometres. The 200SX also excelled in aesthetics. The design, crafted by Gian Luigi Sessa in Innocenti's technical offices, featured sharp, decisive lines that conveyed sportiness and dynamism. For the Italian market, it came in a white livery with a dark red seat, while for the British market, two-tone versions were offered with seats in colours like green, blue and light blue. This model, produced in 20,783 units until 1969, underwent several variations over the years with aesthetic and functional updates. The first version, produced until early 1968, featured a shield-shaped front emblem and a painted metal storage compartment. This version was entirely white, except for the front shock absorbers, which were painted in Fiat Aluminum 690, and the frame, seat and locking hook, which were glossy black. If equipped, the plastic storage compartment retained its natural colour. The second version, produced from early 1968 to autumn of the same year, had a rectangular front emblem and a grey plastic storage compartment, maintaining a clean and appealing aesthetic. Finally, from late 1968 until the end of production, the 200SX Special underwent further updates, introducing a polished horn grille, a chrome trim on the front fender similar to the 150SX model, and side panels without aluminum locking hooks, a hallmark of the last units produced. In terms of colouring, while the first version was entirely white with glossy black details and aluminum-painted shock absorbers, the final production saw the Lambretta 200SX Special painted in biancospino, hawthorn white. Components like the wheel hubs, rims and shock absorbers were finished in Carter aluminum. At this stage, the plastic storage compartment was left unpainted, retaining its natural grey hue. By 1969, the atmosphere was growing heavy for Innocenti, a brand that had shaped Italian mobility but now struggled to stave off an inevitable decline. In an attempt to revitalise the LI-based series, Nuccio Bertone was tasked with redesigning the Lambretta's lines, building on the success of the Louis model. The result was the DL series, a product elegant and clean in its simplicity, but lacking the innovative spark that had characterized its predecessor. Bertone seemed to move away from the sharp edges introduced in the 1960s, returning to softer forms that echoed the classic style of the early models. While refined, the design failed to shake up the market as hoped, especially as the scooter sector began to feel the weight of competition from cars and the changing needs of mobility. Among the versions in the new range, the 200DL stood as the flagship. Developed on the technical foundation of its predecessor, this version increased maximum power to 11.9 horsepower at 6,400 revolutions per minute, thanks to engine refinements. The transmission, with shorter ratios, allowed it to reach a top speed of over 110 kilometers per hour, a remarkable achievement for a vehicle of this category. A groundbreaking feature of the time was the introduction of Ducati electronic ignition, a leap forward that positioned the DL among the most technologically advanced models of its era. Units equipped with this system sported an oval sticker on the front with the word electronic, replacing the characteristic black patch found on other models in the lineup. Despite these improvements, the 200DL found its greatest success in the UK market, where Innocenti launched a variant named the Grand Prix. This version stood out solely for its vibrant colour schemes and a checkered emblem replacing the black patch, but introduced no substantial technical differences from the standard model. Sadly, Lambreta's fate was already sealed. As part of the gradual dismantling of the plant, the automotive division was sold to British Leyland, while the heavy machinery division was taken over by Sant'Eustachio. The production of Lambretta scooters, once the company's pride, was permanently halted. The machinery and production lines were sold to India, marking the end of a glorious era for the quintessential Italian scooter. The Lambretta 200DL thus remains the last roar of a wounded lion, a symbol of the determination and brilliance that made Innocenti a legendary brand. With it, a pivotal chapter in Italian mobility history came to a close, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire admiration and nostalgia. We'll stop here, but the road of legends goes on. Remember, Lambretta engine parts and vintage motorcycle components can be found at kingofficeton.com. Wheels turn, stories endure. Every motorcycle tells a journey and unveils an era. See you at the next stop, always on two wheels and with a piece of history to share.